Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the July 3rd, 2023 supermoon, full moon in Capricorn. Now, there's going to be a supermoon at 11 degrees of Capricorn on July 3rd, 2023. Now, a supermoon in astrology is like a regular full moon, but it is in closer proximity to the Earth. The effects of it can be more intensified and amplified than a regular full moon. A full moon in astrology can manifest a very powerful, uninhibited, unrestrained emotional energy release. Emotions may be released that have been pent up for some time. With this being in Capricorn, one may express a tremendous amount of sadness and despondency. There may be exceptional upsetment due to not attaining a certain stature in life. The supermoon can impact all collectively, but especially those with a Cancer or Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant. Cancer, of course, because the moon is rules Cancer, and Cancer, the zodiac sign Cancer, is simply very sensitive to all transits and phases of the moon. I believe this is strongly attributed to why the zodiac sign Cancer can be so fickle, moody, and temperamental. In Capricorn, this is going, of course, in Capricorn because this is the full moon will be in its own sign, and it will be especially intensified if it makes a conjunction to one's Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant. Also, there could be greater propensity for accidents at the time of the full moon. And being in Capricorn, it could be attributed to being overly gloomy, despondent, or melancholy. It could lead to lack of concentration on the road. There may be anger due to not having, that robust sense of humor, damage to the vehicle, maybe something, with the skeletal system or chassis. It could simply be trying to show somebody who is boss, so to speak, or authority on the road. I wouldn't say this is limited to vehicle related accidents. There may be a greater propensity for accidents in general. One example could be something associated with the zodiac sign Capricorn, such as a construction related accident. Um, like a crane load accidentally hitting somebody, or, or somebody falling off a scaffold. Now, let's say if this makes an adverse aspect to one's natal Mars, as an example, maybe could be associated with something detonating or exploding. Um, Now, full moon in astrology is also associated with endings, completions, and culminations. It could be the end, someone, in some cases, being overly ruthless, even tyrannical or authoritative. A situation, with someone, being overly cold, callous, or undemonstrative may come to an end. Something overly negative, or something which is causing a lot of pessimism or depressing may reach a conclusion for some. A career in general may come to an end, and perhaps I would say especially it could be a Capricorn, career, such as something associated with accounting or information technology or dentistry as some examples. And it could be a situation, that was overly regimented, could end. It could also suggest, the ending of some, it could be a responsibility or some limitation or some hindrance of some kind. Now, another thing, regarding this full, supermoon, Capricorn, it could be, As stated before, a career could come to an end. In general, careers are associated with Capricorn, but it may be more specifically for some a Capricorn-related career. Especially if it falls in what I consider one of the money, houses, the second, sixth, or 10th house in one's natal chart. It could be a career connected with the government, politics, accounting, general mundane work, construction, architecture, dentistry, information technology, or some position of authority such as working as a manager or landlord. Also, too, full moons can manifest in one simply, becoming tired, full, or exasperated at something. Being in Capricorn, it could be some kind of restriction. It may be something that's inhibiting or regimented. A certain responsibility may reach a conclusion. Something like that has been overly, structured, or some depressing situation could be a person that's being overly cold, callous, undemonstrative. In some cases, it may even be a fear that may reach a breaking point at this time. It could be where one becomes tired of a person being overly ruthless, authoritative, even tyrannical. Somebody that's just being overly bossy. Now, another thing too is that full moons, super moons in astrology can also, reflect, revelation or unveiling of something. Now, being in Capricorn, it may just be, a cold, callous, or ruthless quality that you weren't aware of. Let's say, especially if it falls in your first house of self, as an example, or it could be of someone else. Um, it could be, maybe some people become aware of having a Capricorn, type ability. Say if it falls in the second house, which is connected with, talents. Um, that could be an example. And it could, again, it could be about one becoming aware of having that ability to do something that could be Capricorn related, such as something connected with business, politics, working with the government. It could be, a person. Say another example could be, a person that was just simply, looking after their own interest, and theirs taking precedence over others, being aware of that quality in a person. Somebody that's not a team player, as an example, someone that was just looking out for number one and not worried about anybody else. Um, let's say if this falls in the eighth house, for example, there could be, could be a business-related crime that you may become aware or cognizant of. Now, another thing too. Now, let's say, especially if this falls in the first or sixth house in one's chart, because the first house is associated with the physical body. Sixth house is connected with physical health-related issues. It could be some awareness of a Capricorn health-related issue. There may be some issue with the knees, bones, joints, hamstrings, skin, or teeth. Now, with this being a supermoon as opposed to a regular full moon, it may be something that could be a little more serious, such as, say, a moderate mid-level knee injury. An example, would be, say, a medial collateral ligament injury. Another example, let's say if it's something with the hamstring. It could be a hamstring injury that is moderate, such as a partial muscle tear, as opposed to just like like a very simple strain or pull muscle. Um, Also, too, look at the house this falls in your natal chart, as this could impact how it affects you. This is going to fall in my ninth house. This could manifest in a number of ways. One way this may be expressed could be the ending of a negative belief or philosophy. There may be a fear of going outside the box that may come to an end, or there may be greater awareness of it. It could be something, a fear of abstract thinking could be another example, and it could be also the expressed in, a revelation or unveiling as being consistent and disciplined in expanding horizons. It's also important, I would say, to look at the aspects this makes to points in your chart, as this could impact its delineation and interpretation for you. This is going to make an inconjunct aspect to my natal moon in Gemini. Now, inconjunct sun in astrology can often be about adjustments. It can indicate too much or too little of something. Now, in this case, it may manifest in a feeling of just being too serious, which is Capricorn, regarding could be publishing and expanding horizons, which is the ninth house, and not having enough of that need, which is the moon, or maybe more superficial, very quick, which is Gemini, new beginnings, which is the first house, and just things associated with general self-gratification, which is the first house as well, or vice versa. The key is to find equilibrium and balance between the two. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.